Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast from Mashin Sentai Kiramager. I am Vash UV, and joining me today is.
Rye. Wait, what's going on?
I mean,
We just
how
did
so?
we just did the intro.
Yeah, with no problems.
Yeah, what's going on?
I paid attention today. Uh, which is funny when you consider how exhausted I am. Overtime fucking sucks.
Uh, ugh.
This episode, however, does not.
This is a great episode, and I only have one problem with it, and it might be my only problem with the entirety of the show.
And the sad thing is, I understand the problem because we talked
it,
about this before the podcast.
it's not that big a problem, but it's
It's
my
not, but at the
problem.
same and your problem is entirely valid. I'm not even going to argue that because it is. This is passable because they could have gone an entirely different route with this. I say entirely different route, just taking what they did and went no 100%.
So, Garza has taken King Oladin to Jotunheim for an execution. Uh, the question is, how are they gonna go after him? To which Takamichi, with one hand firmly keeping a grip on Crantula, says, "Hey, we can go whenever you're ready."
uh,
I actually said you
like
that when I was
it,
watching.
the sad thing is as soon as you sent that because with the way the episode ended last week, I knew that was exactly how it was going to be given the post credit scene. I was like, yep, they're going to use Crunchyroll to get there, and it was just more the how are they going to convince him? They did this
Takami-
right,
Takamichi tries convincing Crantula that it's his responsibility to fix the mess he's made. It
to which his
doesn't.
response is, "Screw that noise."
Yeah, like it's like no, I caused that issue for a reason. Why would I undo it? I'm the one who did it.
And then his playmate showed up.
Uh, right. As soon as Juru shows up and asks Crunchel, like, "Can you please take us to Yodoheim?" Crunch like, "Yeah, all right.
Oh yeah, no problem.
If Juru asks, it's okay." Because they had a play date together and reached an understanding.
And this is how you properly set up the end of the show with the character being a good guy.
He's not necessarily a good guy, but like he's not strictly on bad terms with them either.
Yeah, he's not evil. He's just more the one of those. Yeah, I understand you, so I get it now. So don't start no more
All right,
shit. We won't fuck you up.
all right. I'll help you out this once. But that's as far as I go because I can't openly betray Garza if things go south.
Right? Because he literally goes, "Nope, this is it.
Alright,
I'm out. I'm gonna go hide."
you guys have fun. I'll have a drink with the winner. Bye.
And that's legitimately how I see that too.
And they don't even blame him either. It's like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like Kametono looked a little pissed, but everybody else is just kind of.
Yeah, what did we expect, really?
It's just funny. I was watching it with Pixie and her kid, and her kid just sitting there going, "Oh, that little two timer," and I'm
Oh,
like, "Not really a two timer if you're evil." He's
he.
like, "What did you
How old is
expect?"
how old is that kid?
15.
Oh,
He's autistic too, so there is some
ah,
of that.
ah, he's got a lot to learn.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
And apparently, so does Pixie involving Ryder,
that,
but we'll get into that in a minute.
mm. That's the thing though, is that we're series veterans at this point. Like,
Right.
so this kind of like betrayal is just. I would have been more surprised if he didn't do this.
Right. Like, it would have been more shocking if you went, All right, let's go this way.
It's like, wait, you're really just gonna switch sides like that?
I mean, we've literally had it happen before.
uh, so Garuza's plan to kill Oladin is simple. He's got this giant monster that's gonna eat him. So he's gonna leave it at that for a bit since the king can't fight back forever, and goes to Earth, where Takamichi was waiting in case Garuza showed up. And he does. I think it's implied that, like, Takamichi was intentionally trying to lure Garuza out by staying behind.
I think it was that, or the fact that he knew that, like, he was gonna be the next target.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he knew Garuza would come for him eventually, so it's like I'll stay behind. If
That
so,
way,
when
he has to leave Jotunheim.
yeah, the others will have an opening.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I can give that, especially given the fact that he know about the, him wanting to his murder boner.
Right, like time to finish our Garjul. This time it's to the death.
Technically, so was his first one until it got interrupted.
Yeah, but Takemichi didn't know at the time, and then he won the second one but didn't kill his opponent. Like, this time it's no hold bars. Did we actually see how this ended? Or did they actually finish it, or did Garuza just piss off?
Guruza pissed off. Yeah, Guruza pissed off.
Because he realized what the others were doing. Like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. You don't get to save the
Well,
king.
it was because Mabashina showed up and mentioned the whole
Oh.
mentioned the fact that Juro shines and sparkles. He goes, "No, fuck
Oh.
that noise. I'm gonna go kick his ass now."
Juru, where is that asshole? He's on my shit list too.
I mean, that's literally how it went down, basically.
Yeah, inside the Mind Palace, Yodana wakes up and is like, alright, so what's your plan here? And Gar's like, I got 3 executions to carry out. You just behave.
Boy, does she ever. I think this is the first time she actually listened to Garuza,
uh,
like, completely.
uh, right before Juru and the king are eaten, though, Garza intervenes and saves Juru. He lets the king get in. That was the king's execution. Juru gets a special execution. A personal
Yeah.
showdown with Garza because Garza wants to crush his spirit first.
Yeah. Fuck your sparkles.
You can't do everything. You can't just fix everything. But no matter what, Juru just can't hate what's happening right now. Garza's new form, his signature attack, everything about him is
But it is just so
sparkling.
awesome.
He's just sparkling so much. Garza even shows off a hidden attack he had, and Juru, it just inspires him. He comes up with a counter that cancel each other out.
Yeah. I will admit I like the fact that Mabushina alluded to what happens with his whole Juror has the power to change things.
Right.
Because I mean, not only is it, useful here, it's like, but it is something that has happened. Juru's sparkle, it changed Carantula. It got Yodana addicted to popsicles, which I wish they would bring back. Also, I have a question for you.
What's up?
Because we now have 2 episodes left.
Okay.
Okay. And for sake and purposes, how is it we still have 2 generals left? No, we have 3, technically. Carantula's still around, Garuza's alive, and Yodana's alive. How are we 2 episodes away from the end and still have that many bad
I don't know. Maybe we're just
guys
going.
running around?
Maybe we're just going for like a full villain redemption. Everyone except for Yodam himself.
which I could accept,
It's like
honestly.
they're all working for the Yodam army. They're all fighting in his name. He's the one commanding them. But if he's not commanding them, then what reason do they have to fight?
Right.
It was
Like
for
and
him, but without him, then what would they be fighting for?
and we already have Carantula's, reason for not being a villain. We get Garuza's, which we're not entirely sold on. We don't really have one for Yodana beyond the hey, here's some ice creams and a boy you could date. Because if she switches, Tamatono is going to be the first man in line.
It depends on how Yodam treats her in the next episode. Because up till now, she's been his personal secretary. He gives the order, she executes it. But now that victory is in his sights, how will he treat her?
Right. Plus, we also have she didn't know that you know he her being locked inside his consciousness
Right.
and all that. So they set it up for her to switch sides. It's just whether or not they will.
Will she be rewarded for her loyalty and service? Or is she no longer needed?
I hate when they go the "you're not needed" and they just murder the person off.
Janice.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that. Fucking Janice
Oh.
murdered a fantastic female villain, just or female
What,
general, just because.
One of my favorite lesser common tropes is villain loyalty. I love it when they actually have a bond with each other.
Right. Like honestly, that's why I liked um what I watched of Jew Ranger, because as much as Bandora was a screamy bitch, the core group actually for the most part got
They felt
along.
like a mismatched family.
Yeah. That big brother yelling at the younger ones for fucking up.
Mother given a paddling when needed.
And then you know brother's girlfriend shows up, and then nobody cares about the younger siblings.
Uh, Spoilers for the end of a show from 1993. But at the end, after they get sealed away together again, and then Grifferzar and his girlfriend have a baby, like just the way Bandora is like, oh, cute baby, and like her motherly side comes out again, and then Precon is like, I'll build a crib. It's just like, you know what? This is actually sweet.
Right, like because it kind of takes the um like the Power Rangers aspect towards the end. Is like, oh, it's like she's the white mother, and the end of Power Rangers in space rather, and it's like seeing that flip side is like, oh, that's nice, and knowing that a lot of her problems in the Japanese version was literally because her kid got killed.
Yeah. And like she blamed the dinosaurs for it, but he was being a shit kid. Like
I mean, they usually
you
are.
you poke the bear, you get mauled.
Right. And in this
When
case, you're poking a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah, if you live along dinosaurs, that's a lesson you should have learned a long time ago.
And as a parent in that aspect, I'm pretty sure you watch your fucking kid better. When you can be stepped on, watch your kids better.
So back to I don't remember how we even got off topic, but back to Kiramager.
Villain
Uh,
flips and loyalty.
uh, while talking to the king, Juru learns that Garuza had the potential to be the chosen one, the legendary hero that would save the world. But instead, he went down the dark path and became the one that brings chaos. King Oden believes Juru is the chosen one that will defeat the
Because of course he is.
that will defeat Garza. I think Oden is just making shit up, honestly.
I mean, to be fair,
No,
I'm pretty sure Oladen's been making shit up.
not necessarily about the legend of the hero, but that like Juru being there. It's like world is gone. Juru, you get to be the hero. You do it.
Right. He's because it's one of those. I think he's gonna go. Yeah, no, I got no chance. So, yeah, you're the hero. Have fun.
You're
Um, I will give this show credit for not jumping the shark with this because we've got a fair amount of Sentais where you have the no, I'm the mega awesome chosen one person.
oh, where like the villain is like the chosen one.
No, I mean with the red.
Oh, no, yeah, no. Juru is really down to earth. Uh,
Right.
it's like yeah,
But they like I'm just glad they didn't like, you know, a third of the way through the series go, Juru is the chosen one.
right. Like he's had like the flashes of inspirations to make the new mechs, and he's talked to the king in his dreams and learned invaluable information that helped them. He's been more important than the others without overshadowing them.
Right. Like outside of plot necessity, none of that stuff really made a difference that he was the one who did it. In theory, they could have been anybody and it wouldn't have taken away from Juru.
And he hasn't been the only one contributing either. Everyone's had their moments.
Right.
Tametono has had plenty of times where he stepped up as the leader. Um,
You know, the
Shigeru came up with his own like sword fishing technique thing when he's
which
learned
nice that they brought that back.
uh, Sayo in the plant episode.
Like nobody overshadows anybody else.
If anyone's gotten the least contribution development, it's Cena. But she's still been there and still mattered, even if it's been more subtle, like how she piloted the train mech on her own.
Right. Like she's been more subtle than anybody else in like her contributions, but they've been massively important.
And then Takamichi hunting down the Kanayame stones.
Right. It's like, and like I said, it's like if anybody outshines anybody else, it's purely due to his personality, and that would be Takamichi because he's so over the top and extravagant when he does this stuff with his constant wonder everything. But yeah, everybody's kind of straight, even across the board. Juru's pretty much the chosen one solely because the king said he was. 2 episodes before the show ends.
Right, it's like, hey, if anyone is going to bring light to Garza's darkness, it's you.
Good luck.
Uh, so yeah,
Drago says chosen one stories from the beginning of time to the end of time. He's not wrong.
yeah, it's a very common thing in storytelling.
And the other thing that's common, especially given with Tokusatsu, is the character getting a power up that makes him go out of control.
Did that happen this show? No, they explicitly
No,
avoided that, actually.
this one didn't. This one didn't. It's because the two other shows that have aired alongside it did.
What other than Saber?
01 did it.
Oh yeah, that they did
And
that.
Saber's
What
getting ready to do it.
did Zero and do that 3 times or 4?
Um, two at least, legitimately. Three if you count when Naki was taking over. Like before he got the assault wolf. Yeah, they kind of went nuts with it in 01, but it worked really well. Like in hindsight, yeah, they did a lot. But yeah, Saber's getting ready to do it.
Yeah, that's right. I saw the preview.
Yeah,
Uh,
so did Pixie. She's like, really? It's like because that's what we need again. Power up makes the
uh,
writer go crazy. She's like, we just got that. I'm like,
is that
oh
what you're
yeah, have
talking
fun with.
about with
I'm
Pixie
like,
needing to learn more about Ryder?
yeah, that's what I was
Because
like. Well, have fun with double. Have fun with O's.
oh
I mean,
god.
literally those two specifically.
Uh,
Like, Fangs doesn't last as long as like O's does, or zero ones for that matter. I don't think anybody passes 0-1.
let's see here. Kuga explicitly had to avoid his berserk form. Uh, Agito and Ryuki didn't have one. Fies didn't have one. Um, Blade technically had one in a sense.
Right, and that was in the way the show ended.
Uh,
Um,
um, let's see here. Uh,
I don't know about Hibiki.
Hibiki didn't have one, but it had an upgrade that was too strong, and so it shorted out your powers. So they had to make it weaker to make it usable.
That's fair.
Hmm. Kabuto didn't. Deno did not, and Kiva did not. Okay, so early Heisei didn't have the Berserk form.
Um, Decade didn't have a berserk form, but there was that movie where he kind of went batshit.
We don't talk about that movie. um,
Double and O's definitely
so
did.
yeah, Double and Nose were kind of the start of the Berserk form. Let's see here. Forze didn't have one. He just had an unusable form until it was refined. Um,
That was Cosmic, right?
no, that was Magnet. It was literally unusable because the
Oh yeah,
magnets stuck to each other.
right.
Cosmic didn't work at all until he figured out how to basically jailbreak it.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
Um,
Zay, what came after that guy?
Wizard.
Oh, Wizard. Did Wizard have one? I don't think Wizard had one.
No, unless you count Beast.
No.
Um, Gaim, I don't think had a berserker form.
Drive, it wasn't necessarily a Berserk form, but it was kind of. It was Dead Heat.
Yeah, where it just powered up and broke them.
Uh, Ghost, I want to say, did not have one.
No, I don't think so. X8, I don't think did.
Uh, hold on a second. No.
The closest you get to it is the whole Mighty Brothers Peridot incident.
Right. But then you get into build with Hazard Trigger.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, I don't think Zio did, unless you count Omazio.
no, when he finally unlocked that, he was in control. Really, I feel like there have been more Berserk forms than like the six we've mentioned.
Right? Like I think 0-1 is what tipped it over because we Metal Hopper was crazy for a little while. Assault Hopper was crazy for a little while. Assault Wolf was crazy for a little while.
You had
Thua was
arcs.
crazy.
You had.
Thua was crazy for a little while. Arc taking over
I was
people.
gonna say you had Arc One.
I mean, yeah, it was like that. Half of 0-1 is Berserker mode, and or mind control.
Anyways, Kiramager. So during their fight, Juru and while the others save the king from the belly of the beast, Juru and Garza have their fight where they enter Garuza's memory from a child when he's drawing and with his flashes of inspiration. And then his brother Olden comes in and joins him, inspired by his brother's drawings.
Like I will admit I wasn't expecting Oladin given the shadow that they set up the last
Right?
episode in this one. I was like expecting someone entire like I was expecting Yodam to walk through the door or
It,
something.
and again, that shadow reveal into Olden is why I thought the reveal was going to be different, but we'll get to that in a
Right.
minute. But yeah, they draw the two attacks that Garza and Juru used. Juru subconsciously pulled that attack from Garuza's memory. Like, that's how strong his inspiration is.
I mean, to be fair, he pulled the king's form subconsciously too.
Yeah, but this shit is crazy. Uh,
Like this is straight, you pulled that out your ass.
but basically, Garza remembers that he used to love his brother and they got along really well, and now he's questioning why he grew to resent him so much. Drew pleads to him that it's not too late. They can start over. With the four Kanayame stones, they can store Crystalia. He can atone for what he's done and make amends. He can fix everything, and he can be their friends. And
Like
Garuza,
I do like Garuza's initial reaction to this. Because his initial reaction is basically the fuck.
hold on,
Um, when he initially goes, you can atone and make it up to your brother and ask
it's
your
like,
brother for forgiveness
I,
because he has that look of like I just killed him.
I killed him and destroyed Crystalia. It's too late for
How
me.
in
It's
the
like, no, we can fix it. We can
no? We have Dragon
rebuild.
Ball.
We
We have
have
Dragon
the
Balls. Don't
Dragon
worry.
Balls. Well, we have three of them, and you have the fourth one. We can rebuild it, though. And then Emperor
And then,
Yodam
God damn
shows
it,
up.
like
Uh,
I will honestly admit I was shocked by that.
and kicks Garza out of his body. Uh, I was wondering what they were going to do if this wasn't the last episode. But then as soon as I saw him back, it's like, okay, Garza's not surviving the end of this one.
Yeah, like as soon as it happened, I was like it. Yodam popped up. I'm like, oh, that's why he wasn't taken out of the opening.
Garza didn't actually kill him. He just pretended to die and went dormant to see what would happen. Like, all right, I'll see what Garza's plan is. What can he accomplish? Oh, he's a disappointment. Okay, never mind.
And also, we have Dragon Balls.
Yeah,
It was we have Dragon Balls, and he's a disappointment.
so first of all, learning that information, Yodam is like, wait, what? I want that. How, I can't even fathom how much stronger it could be with that kind of power. The second
Like, and
thing he reveals is, oh, so you reawoken those memories I buried.
and
Yodam
we get your
knew.
Rise problem.
Yep, Yodam knew that if Oladin and Garuza fought together, he never would have been able to take Crystalia. So, while he was still young and vulnerable, Yodam possessed Garuza's mind and changed his memories to reflect more negative emotions so that Garuza thought that his brother was mocking him to grow a resentment towards him. And that's where my problem lies.
Like I can let it pass, given that they didn't go the whole um mind control route.
Yeah, no, it wasn't complete mind control. It was just changing his memories and emotions to manipulate him. But still, like, I was expecting like a story of like, oh, Garza could have been the chosen one, but Oladin accidentally or unknowingly like took that away from him. Like maybe they had a gradual and Oladin won and became the hero or something, and Garza like let that resentment build up within him until he finally betrayed Crystalia, and then the more he embraced the darkness within him, the more unstable it got until he was finally willing to kill his brother. That leading into like this sentiment of remembering like I used to love my brother. I never wanted to hurt him. Why did I become this monster? That's what I thought was going to happen.
Like I feel that while yes, that would have had a lot more emotional weight behind it, it then takes the character from here's like given how this episode plays out, I feel we would need more than 2 episodes to deal with that path to redemption.
Well, considering he just fucking dies, I mean,
Right, and the fact, and I'm running this off of the instance that they did do the path to redemption aspect because they did that. It's like this is something that would had to have happened much earlier if that's the path they had gone. With them waiting for the last 2 episodes, this was the quickest way to do it without going. Yeah, no, he's a total fuckhead.
Ski, I disagree because Yodam kills him right away, anyways. I think what I had envisioned would have still worked because it would take away the need to worry about the follow up to this kind of action. And since that's what they did, anyways, you can't really argue that that's a cop out.
I would accept that if not for the fact that we know how this is going to play out.
Oh, yeah, once they restore Crystalia, Garza is clearly going to be amongst that.
Right.
Like, I was thinking that the entire time Garza was getting blown up, which, that was a lot of explosions.
Oh, that was a lot of explosions for a direct hit.
We said this before, but you don't survive that.
So here's a question I have, and we're gonna run it off of your deciding factors for cop outs. Which plays better? Him just growing to resent, blah blah blah. Because I'm gonna go off the understanding that the wish would restore everybody's mentalities back to before anybody went stupid. So if Garuza had been evil, like like you had suggested, the wish would put him back on his normal path. What would have been his normal path, given the fact that he's dead.
So,
is it still a cop out then?
This comes down to something you said when we were talking before the podcast. Actually, let me pull it up again. Because you're talking about how he's still responsible for his actions.
Yes.
That is true. But there are two responsible lists here. Yes, he is still responsible for the destruction that he caused, and he needs to atone for that list. But in terms of forgiveness from those around him, that is a separate matter. Because as it played out, none of what he did was actually his fault. He was being manipulated, and not in a way that was his own decision. It was in a way of like, no, his memories and emotions were specifically altered to turn him into this.
So in this aspect, he would need to atone for his sins, but doesn't need to work towards forgiveness.
Not from the main cast, anyways.
Yeah, from the main cast.
But yeah, no, he would still need to partake in helping rebuild Crystalia. But in terms of the others coming to forgive him for all the times that he tried to kill them, they would probably just let it slide when they found out this reveal.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Carangela would too.
As opposed to if it was his own fault that he bottled up his emotions so much he let them get the best of him, where he would actually need to, uh, earn the forgiveness of the Kiramagers. His brother Injuru would already forgive him because they're just that naive, but the others would
Right.
be like, we'll give you a chance, but we're hesitant.
Mhm. Takamichi would shove a drill somewhere.
Takamichi would also give him a chance because he would want to forgive him because it's like, I have fond memories of you. I don't want to lose those. Let's
But
start
cross a
over.
line.
Let's
But cross
start
a line.
over. Let's have a gradual where you don't try to kill me.
Um. So ignoring the villain aspect of it, because this is more few and far in between than I feel. Have we had that character, um, a la Dragon Ranger, who starts out evil and turns good to the aspect of them then having to make forth that effort to actually get
to
honest and proper forgiveness?
to earn forgiveness. Let's see here. So Dragon Ranger was the first one where the others didn't even want to fight him. He wanted to fight them, and they kind of had to convince him that, like, no, this isn't worth fighting over. Uh,
Right.
and so once he did realize that, when they showed him mercy after they beat him, uh, that was kind of them like, all right, we're not gonna fight you anymore. So that was that. Let's see here. I want to say the next one was Gao Ranger, Gao Silver, where he was a hero in the past and then got possessed by one of the Oni or whatever, and so he was a villain in the present until they freed him from the curse. At least that was the Wild Force plotline. I assume it was pretty much the same.
Um,
Uh,
how was
oh,
I thinking?
Hurricaneger. The Go Riders, were they actually evil or were they possessed? I think in Ninja Storm they were possessed. But I think in Hurricaneger they might have actually just been like they were being tricked, but like they thought they were in the right.
Which is,
I didn't actually.
um,
Oh, oh, Abba Ranger,
yeah, that's what I was trying to think
A
of. 'Cause
Bare
I haven't
Killer.
finished that show.
Okay,
I haven't
so
finished that show.
okay, so here's what I haven't seen it, but here's what my understanding of what happens. Like 2/3 through the series or something, Abba Red just straight up is like, well, he can't be evil. He's an Abba Ranger, even though he spent all that time trying to kill them, and the others
From
are just like, Red, you are fucking naive.
oh, what was that? I know this got discussed on the podcast. Excuse me.
Uh, Okay, Drago has informed me that in both series the Go Riders were tricked, and in neither one were they possessed.
Um, from the way it's listed, and this is the um very short brief explanation that's listed here. Or Opera Killer, a genius surgeon who got bored of being a genius surgeon and decided to make a game out of fighting the other Rangers.
Right, he discovers the Pteranodon by accident, but becomes its partner, and they while the all the others they become friends with their Dino partners and form a close bond. He and his try to keep each other separate, his just refers to him as human. But then at the end, when they're about to die, they actually reveal that they've come to see each other as friends.
So it's the Masa Rex and Rio soldiers. Just, you know, took a lot longer.
um, But yeah, Abari Killer, like at the end, switches sides when he finally realizes, like, maybe this was a bad idea, and then immediately gets killed trying to help them. Let's see here. That was so Deca Ranger, Magi Ranger, um, Magi Ranger. One of the villains switches sides, but uh, they used to be a good guy, so, and it's like, oh, you were evil because you were possessed or whatever.
Um, Daddy.
Yeah.
I only knew that because I watched the first handful of episodes of fucking Mystic Force,
Oh yeah, where they.
and then caught like the last couple of episodes. I'm like, oh, okay, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah. So their dad, basically, got trapped in hell when they were sealing them away. So he inadvertently turned evil from overexposure. At least that's how I remember it. I could be misremembering the details. Um, G Ranger, Geki Ranger, uh, Geki Violet. He starts off not a villain but an antagonist because he thinks his powers are evil, even though they're not.
I mean, to be fair, he is purple.
Right. That's kind of the point of like the powers themselves are not evil. They're just a dark version of the power.
um, but yeah,
Uh,
leading back to the episode, so we're not on this podcast for an exceedingly long amount of time because I'm sure this can go on for a while.
uh, two more
Two more.
or three more.
Okay.
Okay, so Kyoryuger, Gold starts off antagonistic because he wants to show off in front of the others so they think he's cool.
And to be fair, that's also after he gets, broken out of the
That
villain's
that
body.
aside, that aside, he just wants to show off to the others to look cool, so he pretends to be antagonistic to earn their respect, and it works. Um,
Goddamn samurai.
Tokyo Rokugo was a villain that joined the good guys before the start of the series, so we don't see his redemption. It happens off camera. We kind of see his
Well,
redemption,
we kind of see it through because like that whole. I feel that whole thing is more
but
his entire
his
redemption.
his yeah, that's his redemption. But his kind of like the good guys accept him. That's off camera when he's already working on the Rainbow line.
Yeah.
And then Star Ninja. He's trying to become a ninja apprentice, but so he has to like defeat the grandchildren to do so. So he's
Yeah, and
constantly
he
trying
does
to.
show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um. So more back to how this episode plays out. How often do we get that for the villain?
For the villain. Okay.
For a villain that was a primary antagonist for the
I'm
entire
going
show.
to list. I'm just gonna stick to my favorite example of this from Kyoryuger, I Gallon, the Tin Man. When he, before the start of the series, already had a prior relationship with Black, where he killed Black's best friend. And so they have a constant rivalry throughout the entire show, mostly of Gallon tormenting him to get a rise out of his emotions, since the whole
Right.
point, their whole goal is to collect human emotions as a data sample. Uh, and it's towards the end, Gallon's character starts to shift. Uh, and he starts having these weird mood swings, and he doesn't know what's going on until he realizes that in a previous fight he was killed, but his body contained his soul and it wasn't able to pass on. And it's during the final battle that Igalen has to beg Black to tear his body open and set his spirit free so he can finally pass on. And Black just begrudgingly has to do it through grit because it's like, I fucking
Right.
hate this. I fucking hate this. I wanted to kill this man this whole time, and now doing so is helping him, and but he's in pain and in need, and I have to help him. I fucking hate this. Just die already.
Yeah, I feel that is the best example of it. Beyond this and the immediate death. Um,
And then, the Tokyo villains, because
yeah, they're
go watch Tokyo.
yeah. Go watch Tokyo. The like the main cast of that show are all kind of fairly one note for like the Rangers compared to the villains. Compared to the villains, the main cast is one note as fuck.
Yeah, the villains are like the real story.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially once you figure out what the twist is with that show. Then it's like, oh, okay, there. Everything that I just watched made sense for them, and everything moving forward makes sense for them. Don't care. Villain time. Oh, that in terms of villains, that's still my. I feel the best show in terms of the villains. Only because all of them were so very well rounded and fleshed out characters, rather than the villains being the one note characters. And then like even here's like Garuza and Tarantula feel very fleshed out, even when they're just the villains. Like this show did a good job of showing um like the reasonings behind the actions. Like the further the show got, like we got a
Right.
deeper understanding of why Garuza was being a dick because he was a power hungry asshole, which, given how everything played out, made sense because it basically turned him into we're brothers and we love each other to screw you anything you can do I can do better.
Right, and like his actual motives for betraying Crystalia have been vague and unclear the entire series. All you really had to go off of was that he betrayed Crystalia because he had some sort of deep hatred for his brother. And that's all you had, so all you could do was speculate. But
Right,
now we get
like
the reveal that, like, he never hated his brother, but he was
right,
made to
like
think he did.
and then because of that hate, like because um Olin touched on it um last episode I think. Yeah, it was last episode where Olin is like, "What is this? Fine? Is this what? Even this power is not enough to satisfy you?" Is like he got power hunger, and I feel more in that aspect of, "No, fuck you. I am better than you.
Yeah,
You're not gonna mock me because I'm better than you."
it clearly shows that, like, Odin assumed that Garza turned evil out of a power grab.
Um, but yeah, it's like they've done an exceptional job of fleshing out the villains despite them being one note. Because even with that, Garuza was still technically kind of one note. He'd show up, antagonize, beat the shit out of somebody, maybe steal a train and leave, and get pissed off. Like that was pretty much his entire character for 90% of the show, or get his train stolen. One of the two. Somebody at some point was stealing a train if he showed up. um, where like for a good chunk of the series, Garuza, Carangela had more personality that was showing through than Garuza did. But they did a good job of keeping Garuza on par, like develop developmental wise, in terms of us seeing progression within the characters.
XA did have a berserk form.
He did.
Drago Knight Hunter Zed. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
it
they
was
did.
it was intended to be a shared power up, so if you used it by yourself, it would overwhelm you.
Unless you were a hero or Kiria or Snipe.
Well, the implication is that by the later point when they use them by themselves, they were
Yeah.
used to that power level. But when
Oh,
it
I
was
know.
first used,
Yeah, when it was that's why I was like, yeah, X-Age uses it, everybody has to use it. Then it's not, then Brave gets it and it's like, oh, okay, I guess he can just use it. Never mind.
I knew there was another one. He just randomly came to me.
I I keep forgetting that that one exists because it unlike the other shows, it's not a focal point.
Right, it got used like twice and then they moved on.
Um, because they kind of went ape shit with skipping levels. People kept people kept activating the game genie. And
And by the end of it, you're just playing an MMO where everyone's cheating.
yeah, and somebody has a power up star.
Anyways,
Um, but yeah, no, it's like this shows like for a lot of the villains being particularly one note in terms of their actions and what they do. Even with, like I said, like with Garuza just showing up to antagonize or to try to buy time for the monsters or whatnot. They did a great job of fleshing out the characters, very slowly to without a lot of notice it was happening. Like it wasn't chucked down our throats like a lot of the other shows would have done. What you want, Drago?
Kamen Rider cheat harder.
I mean, that is a very good alternate name to Xaid. Everybody on that show just tries to cheat harder.
That's literally how they defeat the villain. They just cheat harder than him.
But given where we're at in the show, given where this ends,
Yes.
does it feel like we have 2 episodes left?
Honestly, this could have been the last episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely could have been. But
Uh,
given how it ends, it doesn't feel like that's going to drag out for 2 episodes. I mean, it's gonna because we
so
it's literally doing what fucking Rio Soldier just did. Of we killed off the red, so we're gonna have an episode fighting the bad guy without the red, and he's gonna show up at the end of the episode for that roll call, and then they're gonna kick the monster's ass.
right. So what's gonna happen is next episode is going to be the second to last confrontation against Yodam, where we're going to see the heroes at their highest despair, basically, where like all hope is lost. How could we possibly win?
And then Juror's gonna show up.
Right. So that's what next episode is going to be, where it's like we have to fight, but how can we? And
Right.
then we'll have the final episode where the first 10 minutes will be the final battle against Yodam himself, and then the rest will be the epilogue.
The epilogue. Like, I get why they stretch it out like this. Like like normally by this point, it feels like the episodes like it makes it feels like there's only 2 episodes left. This show, to me, it doesn't feel like there's 2 episodes left.
It feels like this could have been the mid-season.
Right, and then there's a whole rest of a show that we could be dealing with.
Like one of the reasons I'm gonna miss this show so much is there's still so much you could do with this cast.
There is, and and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna use a quote from our X8 podcasts. Given how the show started, did you expect it to attempt to kick your heart in the dick with a villain?
No,
But it tried to,
we
didn't it?
we expected like to maybe oh, maybe Carantula will be a good guy by the end. We predicted that very early on.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, like once he started eating marshmallows.
I think before that even.
Maybe I knew I know the marshmallows was the 100% solidified. We knew that was going to be a thing that happened. I at no point expected to feel sympathy and bad that Garuza died.
When this shows, we thought this was going to be a normal series at the start. Like, that is laughable.
Not okay. So we started watching this thinking this was going to be a normal show. Then we got a handful of weeks in and went, no, this is a fucking parody show. What are we watching?
The first whack-a-mole incident is what really sold it for me. And the fact that I said
Yeah.
first whack-a-mole incident should tell you a lot.
You know, that and the fact that one of the monsters literally is a goddamn game of red light, green light. Nothing about this show when it started screamed serious Sentai. You're gonna be in your feels. None of it. It just seemed like, hey, we're gonna poke a little bit of light fun as we're waiting to do the anniversary series. Yeah, no, that was not the case. They bait and switched us, dude.
Yeah, we'll probably get Kiramager V Cinema. Wait, did we ever get that Kiramager movie?
We are getting it along with the Rear Soldier movie and the Zenkaiger movie. We're
So
getting all three of them.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we're probably not gonna get a Kiramager Returns, which I don't think they've done one of those in years, anyways. Uh,
Are
but
you do you mean the normal after series movie or
the
the
norm the
10
normal
years
after series movie, because then there's gonna be
Real Soldier?
we got Rio Soldier Returns.
Yes. There are three Sentai movies coming out all at the same
Oh
time.
yeah, we are getting that. But
Yeah,
like
we are literally.
we didn't get like a Lupat one. We didn't get like a. I don't think we got Key Ranger one unless the Space Sheriff stuff counts.
I'm gonna say it does.
Okay, then we did get that.
I mean, to be fair, that also gave us our 10 years after for SPD or for Deca Ranger. That was all one.
Um,
They went all out for Deca Ranger.
but yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we're not gonna get one for Kiramager. So we'll get the upcoming movie and the hopefully we get the Versus movie next year.
Yeah, that would be nice. We may not. Well, I mean, we may. It depends on if they throw that into the mid-season movie because we're getting the the Zenkaiger movie like shortly after the series starts.
Well, Versus movies are usually like 2/3 through the series,
Yeah.
but then it takes several months for us to get it over here because
Right.
reasons.
Um, but like I says, like with how early that the summer movie is this year, I don't. I'll be amazed if we
Yeah,
don't get that even sooner in the series.
yeah, the schedules are thrown out of whack.
Which is why we're getting all three at once.
So, but yeah, it's time to wrap this up. So, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We got 2 more episodes of this show left.
I don't want it to go.
Me either.
This has been a delightful surprise that I'm going to be disappointed it's going to end. And I'm hard up to decide to pinpoint am I going to miss this or Rhea Soldier more?
I think I'm gonna miss this one more.
I know there's going to be particular reasons why I'm going to miss this one because I'm going to miss all the wacky campy fun that the show was.
I feel bad for Zenkaiger. It's starting at a disadvantage.
It's starting at a disadvantage at 2 because Kiramager was fantastic and you're literally doing Gokaiger season 2. So you're literally doing we did this before and probably did it better.
No matter how I look at it, I don't see it as Gokaiger Season 2. I just see it as the Sentai version of Decade.
I
Not
mean,
even that,
technically
really.
both are
Like,
right.
not even that, even. Like, I don't even see it as that, to be honest.
This is more the we want to do an anniversary series and we're out of ideas.
The,
Because it is
the,
kind of a hot. Everything I've read about it is a hodgepodge between either decade or
the,
between decade and Gokaiger.
the theme is past themes.
Gokaiger. Decade.
Anyways, thanks for
It's gonna be
joining.
fun.
We'll see you next time.
Yep. Tomorrow for Kamen Rider Saber. Next week, episode 44 of Kiramager.